All right. Well, hey, team, it's Dee Corchin. I'm glad to be with all of you on this Monday night, July 15th. Got a lot of us coming in, got some great stuff to cover. It is summer. We're all busy. We've kind of been going through a new season in Optavia. So, really learning how to optimize our time and optimize the opportunities that Optavia has given us through Commit to Health and the Business Builder promos. But what I wanted to share was a couple of things. I'll share the phone number or the link in the comments in just a few minutes. But Dan Bell is offering 2 calls tonight. He is going to do a deep dive into the 2 promotions. So at 8:30 tonight, after our watch party, we're back to doing our watch party with the community call at 8:30. You can sign into Dan's normal Monday night call, and he's going to go deep. And I've seen his handout that he has, and he's going to really talk about income and what's possible as you're helping to transform lives, either through the program or by offering coaching, really what that translates to when it's compounded. All the bonuses are compounded together. So he is much better at delivering financial numbers than I am. So we'll let Dan do that. That's at 8:30. And then on Thursday night this week, there is he's going to do a business of health coaching presentation. So if there's anybody that's been on your heart for coaching, now is an incredible time for somebody to start with our business for their own personal journey transformation to help spread this mission, and with the Commit to Health promotion. So that is Thursday night at 8. But something that is super fun, we've got convention a week from Wednesday. This is the last week that you can sign up for that. And if you live in this area, if you're attending convention, we definitely need your RSVP for the team party on Saturday evening. So if you're coming to that, we can't wait to see you. We've got a committee working on it, including Vicki and Gina and Meg, myself. We've got some fun stuff planned. So if you can be there, we definitely want you to be a part of it. But before we go any further, Frank or Shauna, either one of you, I would love for you to introduce your new coach to us, because it's always exciting when we have somebody new join our team.
Yeah, thank you, Dee. So it's my honor, my pleasure. Shauna and I are really excited about this new coach. Her name is formally is Agatha, but she goes by Aggie. And I think I saw her a minute ago on here.
I think she's coming back in.
Yeah, she's coming back in. Anyways, so while she comes back in, she's been a client for about 4 months. She's got a background in nursing and has done really well on our program. And yesterday afternoon, out of the blue, she reached out to me and says, "Hey, I want to be a coach." Sent me a text message, and so we had a little, quick little text discussion. And as a result of that, she also signed up her first client yesterday, a neighbor friend of hers. So she's just a great person to talk to, been a wonderful client, and is excited about coaching. So I'm gonna let her take it away. So Aggie, if you could come off mute and just share for a couple minutes.
Like she might be frozen. Let's see.
Is she frozen again? She was saying something about her internet was going in and out, or there we go. She's trying to unfreeze.
Aggie, can you hear us?
Hi.
There you are.
I'm trying to get here.
That's what we see you.
It's my computer keeps freezing. I don't know if you guys can still hear me or not,
Yes.
but I am just gonna go ahead and keep talking, and hopefully you guys can hear me, but my computer a client. I am thrilled to be working with Frank and Shauna. They're amazing. And I have a very dear friend who I think has been watching me very closely for the last 3 months. And she decided to make some inquiry about the program. And she said, "I'll do it if you'll be a coach." And I wasn't quite ready to be a coach program and making a transformation for life. So I hope you heard that, and I hope you guys, I hope I can get my internet back up and running, but thank you. You guys have a great night.
Aggie, thank you. We caught about 80% of it. So what I love was your smile, your energy. Thank you for being willing to be brand new on this team and hop in and share. That just says a lot for your heart. And Frank, maybe you can answer this for us in advance. I'm guessing somewhere along the way, you had been talking to Agatha about the possibility, how coaching was an option. You want to maybe share with us a little bit about that, Frank? Just maybe what conversations might have sounded like before, so that when she was ready, she was ready.
Yeah, I mean, like always, anytime I talk to a client, I'm dripping coaching in a lot of different ways, pretty much from the health assessment point on. So when I'm doing the health assessment, I'm still dripping coaching in there. And then not every time I check in with them, because I keep notes, because I don't want to do it every time, but maybe every other time or every third or fourth time, I'll drip coaching a little bit. And what I'm really looking for is holes in their canoe. And I quickly identified that, number one, she had a healthcare background. Number two, she's serving her community right now with, she's on the water, and I'm probably messing this up, but she's part of a water service community for her community. And she's just got a heart to serve. And she was always positive, always excited. Her husband kind of, did part of the program too, lost 10 pounds, not even a client, just through her coaching. So she was kind of indirectly coaching her husband at the same time. I mean, so I'm looking at her notes here, her health assessment. I pulled it out on the very beginning on our health assessment. She wrote down, when I dripped coaching, that was something that she would be interested in. And I sent her right after I did the health assessment with her as a follow-up, I sent her the Trilogy nurses video. So I planted that seed. I mean, that was 4 months ago. I planted that seed 4 months ago. Never pushed her, never, said anything, really thing, but just kind of planting seeds. And then when the time was right for her, you heard her say here when she talked, she wasn't sure the time was right. So she kind of had a neighbor reach out to her, and that became the right time. So sometimes when we think the time is not right, something happens and it suddenly becomes the right time. So it's just a matter of keep doing those simple little steps, looking for opportunities, looking for those. I called them red flags one time on a call a couple months ago. They're not red flags. They're just kind of, I always have my radar up, and she's a great person. I knew she was excited, so I knew she's going to be a great coach.
Thank you. Yeah, I think if we, it's almost like a green flag, right? Like you heard something that, and if we really put ourselves as coaches and what is it that we're offering to somebody else, that we want to be asking questions, we want to be listening, we want to be offering. And I think some of us are self-confidence. We can get a little weary, like, oh, what do I want? But just, I hope we can use this as an example that it is so important. I know I'm extremely grateful that somebody had the courage to invite me, 1,000 years ago to become a coach. So something like that. But thank you. And Aggie, thank you for being with us on this mission. And your neighbor's going to get healthy, and who else? We don't know yet. So very good. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about time, and with summer, with travel, all that we have. I know many of us on this call, we're working other jobs, we have family, we have other commitments. So going to talk about how do we really optimize our time so that we can continue to prioritize this as a business, but do it efficiently and effectively, and really pack the most impact we can with our time. So we haven't heard from Lori in a while. She's been off and she's been teaching and doing different things. But Lori Cole, I'm so glad that you said yes to sharing with us tonight about how you navigate it all and keep this a priority.
Absolutely. It's good to be back on here. It's super exciting. I feel energized teaching. First, a little bit about my story. When I started Optavia 8 years ago, I was sick. I had inflammation. I was doing a lot of things right, but I wasn't eating nearly enough. I was a fitness instructor and I was just pounding my body. And what I saw was the lack of inflammation. So it reminds me my why. And I can, not that, I'm not a perfect person, none of us are, but also that continues to help me refocus, is why I believe Optavia is life-changing. I heard a reel from Mel Robbins, and she said, Nobody's going to save you. You have to coach yourself. And it's a great reel. Like it really got in my business. And it reminds me every day that I wake up and I coach myself. And, I've been through my daughter getting married, a back injury, working full time, and all of those things. And I continue to, I have just set my goals. Like every morning I get up and I have my morning routine. I have my plan for the day nutritionally. And sometimes it goes awry because I'm certainly like anyone else, but it's about maximizing the time that I do have. I've minimized the scrolling and started growing and looking at ways that I can plug in to really meet people and get face to face with them. I think it comes down to how we view this great program that we coach. And if we view it as a diet and we are living in that shame cycle where we're taking days off and not thinking about our own health, then it's really easy for it to be a thing to do. But if we are viewing it as a lifestyle and we're involved with this community and we're I have some of my best friends are in this community. So when I'm struggling, I reach out to them and I'm like, okay, well, let's get some accountability going. Let's get some things moving here because I need some layered accountability. It is who I am. And I think that's what makes the difference with my time structure is I don't believe it's something that I'm peddling. I believe that it's who I've become.
Oh, Lori, I love that. I hope you're watching the comments blow up too. People are happy to hear from you. It's hard to watch comments and be speaking. And I think Vicky quoted you or your husband on something, but what is it that Eric had told you about this business and
So
the key to success?
my husband, he has been with AT&T, who was Bell South, who was South Central Bell. He co-opted with them when he was in college as an engineer and has been with them for just celebrated his 35th anniversary with the company, which is pretty unheard of these days. And he said, I really think that the secret sauce, we were talking about the change and all the struggles that this business has had. He said, the secret sauce is that you keep showing up. When people are off doing this thing or that thing, you keep showing up as the voice of Optavia, as a person who cares about their health. In vulnerability, like I've done some a couple of recent photographs with a photographer that were just vulnerable, about life and how things are hard. And that's the secret sauce, is that we don't quit when everyone else is running out the door. There are some days I have to say to myself, okay, what is my best step for today? If I were coaching myself, it might not look like a hour walk. It might look like a 20-minute walk because that's just the best I can do. And that's the secret sauce, is not quitting.
Yeah, so true. So true. Well, thank you. And sometimes that's sometimes easier said than done, because sometimes quitting on ourselves, quitting on our health, quitting showing up in the world, thinking nobody's listening, that can be sometimes the hardest thing, is not quitting. So thank you for continuing to show up. And if you don't know Lori well, or if you don't follow her, I recommend I follow her stories. I mean, she's just always kind of living out loud. Like, here's her morning walk, here's this, here's that. But just kind of integrating her own personal life into in sharing about health and what's possible. So thank you for that. And I think a couple of things you said. What would you stop doing a few things? Optimize what you are doing, and also remembering who it's who you are. And those were kind of going to be the 3 points that I wanted to make before we jump into some more specifics about how to optimize your time. But when it comes to our business, like sometimes we're looking for what else can I do? What else can I do? And sometimes it's not adding on, it's actually doing what you're doing, but doing it better and more efficiently, more concisely, more effectively. And in just a couple of minutes, Diane Nix is going to share about how to optimize our time, in particular on social media, because even though we know that's not our only vehicle for reaching people, Lori mentioned about being out in the community, et cetera. But rather than looking for like what else I could do, what if you could actually optimize your current environment and format of what you're doing? So sometimes that means removing some things and then getting better at other things. So removing the scrolling, and then maybe learning how to do a reel, or learning how to do something different, or interacting more effectively, connecting with people to have those conversations. The other thing is to remember that there is somebody out there that is ready to say yes to what we have to offer. And I think when we can get caught up in our own story, our own vulnerability, our own doubt, that we can stop showing up and showing up consistently. And when we do that, we don't know that your next post or the next person you speak to at church or the next time might be the person that you're actually able to really help them to dramatically change their lives. So I think keeping that in mind, that there is somebody who's willing and ready to say yes, it's our role to be out there to find them. And then just remembering, like Lori said, Lori went back to her own story. She went back to her own story. What has Optavia done for me? It's helped me with my health. It's helped me with my inflammation. I've learned how to work out more effectively. I've have some of the best relationships in my life. And we can remember that, and remembering that what we have to offer and that our personal story matters. That is going to be the key for continuing to show up, is always going back to the roots of what it is we're currently doing. How has it changed your life? Because we've got 27 people on this call whose lives are changed, that we continue to show up, and we're not unique. There's other people like us in the world that would be searching for this. So Diane Nix touched on this for a very short amount of time for us in Time for You last Thursday, but I know everybody can't get on that or hasn't been on it. If you don't know what that is, Time for You is at 12:30 on Thursdays. I open up the same Zoom room, and it's just an open forum, questions and answers, community, sharing of ideas. But Diane, maybe you can share a little bit about what you participate in with Love, Serve, Grow, what that is, and then what you've learned about really optimizing your social media time.
Thank you, Dee. Dee asked me after I shared it in Team Time or Time for You to just go over a little bit about what Bob Heilig was talking about with what we call Core 4 activities. And it's basically a way to take 1 hour of our day, break it up into 15-minute blocks, and do one thing at least in each of those 15-minute blocks. But it's very intentional. And so there are some slides. I don't know if you wanted to share those.
I'll pull them up. You'll have to kind of tell me when to switch them, but I'll pull them up in just one second,
fine.
Diane.
That's fine.
But
there's 4 different segments. So that's why it's called the Core 4 activity. And this is within Bob Heilig's group. But it is really just to focus us on income producing activities. Because just like Dee said, how can we do less, but do less better? And part of this is really just getting into action. So the first of the Core 4, the first one is transformational content. And we all know, I mean, we spend a lot of time posting, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook or whatever that is. And there are 4 different types of content. So you see there value, connection, proof, and invitation. And in this, so in that first 15-minute period of your hour that you block, you're going to either decide from your posting strategy, do I want to attract people, nurture, convert, or actually invite? And so these are the different types of transformational content. So the top of funnel people are your cold leads. You're not really mentioning your product. You're more talking about what you value in your life, whether it's your faith, your what things are important to your family, fun vacations, whatever, the things that will attract people to you. And then connection, the middle of the funnel, is also about your values, your life, inspirational, and that attracts your warm leads. Then the bottom of funnel, your proof content, your things like your before and after post, your recipes, more product focused. And they could be even a little bit of invitation, making an indirect ask, inviting them to a conversation, inviting them, would you like a copy of my top 5 health tips? Or, something that would maybe be a part of that invitation. and then the invitation itself. So this is the first 15-minute section. You want to just try to post one thing that day that either, and if you look at value, connection, proof, and invitation, you want probably 80% of your post to be about value and connection, getting people attracted to you. And then maybe the rest of it in the proof and the invitation. So think about, the last 2 weeks that you posted. What does that look like for you? Then if we go to the next slide, which is the next 15-minute section, you're actually going to be doing authentic outreach to your hot leads. And hot leads are people who've actually commented on your product post, on your business posts, and it could be a past or current customer. And my problem was I would post regularly. I do that. I'm pretty habit. I have a habit of doing my posting, but am I following up and I comment on them, but I don't actually go into instant message and then have conversations and try to start a conversation, check and see what are they doing in their life. Oh, they just went on a trip, or, the family member just won a tournament, or, so commenting on something about them and trying to build that connection and build that trust with those people. But, if you looked at it from a post, somebody who actually commented on your post, thanks for commenting on my post. I'm curious, what are you doing in this in your health currently? Are there any areas you're struggling with? And just start up a conversation with past customers. Always a way to connect back with them, and then your current customers. I wanted to ask you a few questions. What's it like being, me being your health coach? How are you experiencing me? And are there any areas I can improve upon? Even to learn more from your current customers. So that's, and what I found out in that 15-minute period, you can't do a whole lot of those. I might get 2, but hey, that's better than what I did before. So then the next 15-minute section after the authentic outreach for hot leads is your warm leads. These are the people who are engaging or commenting or liking your non-product posts. It might be people that you know but aren't engaged in your content. So some examples of what to say to begin with, thanks for commenting on my hot mess mom post. Please tell me more. It's been a while. I have, but just trying to build a conversation so you can get around to asking them, I'm curious, are there any areas you're struggling with in your health right now? And then even the non-engaged content, so I've been doing some social media research. Have you seen any of my posts? And if they say no, we'll say, oh, I appreciate you, you let me know that. It just helps because I'm trying to, but it's still building a conversation. Go back to theirs and see if they're doing any posts that you can have a conversation with them about. And then the last 15 minutes, and through all of that, you're really just trying to assess a need and determine if there's any fit. Is there any concerns that they have with their health right now? In this last 15 minutes, it's value added follow-up. And we've always heard follow-up, follow-up, follow-up. That's just so important. And it might take 8 to 15 times to following up with somebody before they might turn around. Well, how do you spend at least 15 minutes going back to whether it's a health assessment, whether it was somebody that you put on your list, because that's the other thing I found out. My business is a hobby if I'm not tracking my conversations. So even if it's on a piece of paper, I'm writing down the name, I'm writing down what date where it was I talked to that person, if it was on LinkedIn, if it was on Facebook, wherever, and what it was about. If there was any issue or something that I know there's a problem, then I can go back and follow up with that. And then he uses acknowledge, add value, and then ask. So, I've been thinking about what you shared with me regarding your health. I created some 5 health tips that I could share. Would you be interested in seeing those? To keep the conversation going, but to keep the follow-up too. But it is a way, if you block 1 hour of your time to devote that, just 1 hour, whether it be, 5 days a week, whether it be 3 days a week, 2 days a week, whatever you can do, but it's dedicated time towards your business. Any questions? I know that was a lot. Just to
Yeah,
get
that was a
through
lot. I
fast.
wanted to be able to open it up
Yeah.
to questions about any of those, about what you would say or what you might send for value-added content. This is our opportunity if you've got some questions.
Yeah, feel free. And Love Serve Grow has a lot of, they have a lot of different things. I mean, I've been a member since about January now, and I'm an annual member. So,
Do you want to share about that? Do you know offhand how somebody could join that if they don't know what it is and how to join?
Yeah, I mean, I actually have a link that I can give them $100 credit.
Oh, wow.
If they're interested. So they have like a referral program even within it. But it's I mean, it's like $97 a month. If you get on the annual program, it was less because you're paying for the whole year.
Yeah. So Bob Heilig is over that, and Bob is a multi-level marketing guru, direct sales guru from his prior experience, and also like a social media guru. So he has merged those together in order to provide assistance, guidance, coaching into how to provide value out into the world with what you're doing. And so a lot of different companies of individuals work with him, but he offers a membership program, which I think is, like you said, $97 a month, and of ideas and things like you just described, Diane. So,
and there might be, like this Core 4 challenge, they have 3 sessions every week that you could just hop on with other people. So you're having to do it with them. Or, like we talked about, is that something maybe we would want to do? Set up our own hour.
yes.
That we might do.
Yeah. So thank you. So I see like Lori Cole posted in the comments, Bob Heilig has a podcast called Your Virtual Upline. If you're part of this group, you go into a private Facebook group called Love Serve Grow. Again, we are not affiliated with it at all, but if you are looking for something, I think it's relatively inexpensive to be a part of something like that. When Diane reviewed this the other day, I mean, in pure honesty, I mean, I realized I was slipping into habits where I wasn't actively taking advantage of people that were liking, commenting, particularly people that were liking and commenting on my personal life post. And those are people that are watching, they're seeing your stuff, and they're interacting on some level. So for me, it just opened up it was just a whole nother reminder to do that. And then I love, Diane, if you're wondering about how do I follow up with people, what do I do? Beth Bilton has been really great about sharing things with us, like the July 4th, tips and recipes or holiday related things. And I really loved with that example that it's like, hey, I have something new with some great 4th of July tips. Would you like me to send you a copy? So it's not just, dropping somebody a message or a text and say, hey, I got this. I thought you'd really like it, which is just kind of a dump and run, but versus like actually looking for that interaction. But so asking if they want it, getting permission, and then sending it, which can then open up the whole nother door to conversation about what did they try? What did they like? Et cetera, to keep that door open. So if you want to learn more specifically about the Commit to Health and the Business Builder promotions, those I recommend you be on Dan Bell's call at 8:30. That will be it's pinned in Coaches Opt for Change right now. So if you want the link, you can go right there and get it. Right now, I'm going to let everybody in for our watch party for the community call. But thank you, Lori, and thank you, Diane, for sharing, and thank you, Aggie, for I think she's still on for letting us get to know you a little bit better. So, all right, here we go.